Hi everyone. Today's my topic is discuss about relevance of social learning theory of social work practice. Introduction. Social work theories can be taken from many disciplines such as criminology, law, education, politics, social politics. Each discipline attempts attempts to explain human behavior within its field of study. However, to ensure that you as a social worker are able to explain a particular behavior, it's important you thereof regardless of the original discipline on theory that many prove helpful for some of your clients is the social learning theory. Will social learning theory comes psychology its tenets are very much applicable to study of social work. This introduction to social learning theory addresses its function, elements, strengths and weakness along with its application in social work. Included is a list of books and online resources to learn more. Social learning theory suggests that social behavior is learned by observing and imitating the behavior and others. Alter, others. Psychologist Albert Bandura developed the social learning theory, alternative to the earlier work of fellow psychologist B.F. Skinner, known for his influence on behaviorism, while behavioral psychology focuses on how the environment and reinforcement affect behavior. Bandura put forth that individuals can be learned behavior through observation. The social learning theory has four mediational process that help determine whether a new behavior acquired. A behavior must grab attention behavior before it can be imitated. Considering the number of behaviors we observe and do not imitate daily indicates attention is crucial in whether and behavior influence imitation. We cannot perform the behavior if we do not remember the behavior. So while you have formed, the observer will not perform the behavior, and because social learning is not immediate, retention is vital to behavior modeling. This ability to reproduce a behavior we observe, it influences our decision about whether to try performing the behavior. Even when we wish to imitate an observed behavior, we are limited by the physical abilities. The mediational process is referred to as vicarious reinforcement. It involves learning through observing consequences of actions for the people rather than through direct experience. History of social learning theory. In 1961 and 1963, Albert Bandura conducted series of experiments to determine whether social behaviors could be acquired by observation and imitation. The research that entailed children observing and model punch inflatable doll looked to support the idea that children emulate their behavior by watching others. These experiments were collectivity known as the Bobo doll experiments. Social learning theory. Learns can be acquired new behavior and knowledge by merely observing model. Enforcement and punishment have indirect effects behavior and learning. People from expectations about the potential consequences of future responses based on how current responses and reinforced or punished. Mediational process influence of behavior. Con- Cognitive factors that contribute to whether a behavior is acquired or not. Learning does not necessarily lead change. Just because a person learns something does not mean they will have change in behavior. Social learning theory examples. Social learning theory examples in everyday life are common, with one of the most evident being the behaviors of children as they imitate family members, friends, famous figures, and even television characters. If a child perceives there is a meaningful reward for such behavior, they will perform it at some point. Social media presents plenty social learning examples with people imitating other weather, acting movie scenes, copying dance moves from a music video, and not the least, the many social media challenges people attempt. The this this franchise behavior is typically spurred spurred by the desire to be socially accepted or killed. Strength and weakness of social learning theory. One of the primary strengths of social learning theory is its flexibility in explaining the differences in a person's behavior or learning. When there is a change in person's environment, the person's behavior may change. Social learning theory apply to social work. Social learning theory posits the people emulate the behavior they observe in their environment, especially if that behavior reinforce behavior reinforced in others. For example, if a child observes the parents going to work every day, volunteered at a local community center and helping their significant other with tasks around at the home, the child is likely mimic those behaviors. If rewarded, these behaviors become reinforced and most likely repeated by the individual. This premise applies to troublesome behaviors as well. A person who observes someone treating others poorly and being rewarded for it may follow suit. Social workers can use social learning theory to identify the behavior models a client may be emulating and use that information to help correct negative behavior such as underage drinking, drug use, or unprotected sex. Okay, thank you everyone.